Pixie mythical creature story. Pixie is the name for a form in folklore. Pixies are said to be especially concentrated in the moorland areas around Devon and Cornwall, suggesting some Celtic origins in the beliefs and names. Pixie has many different names such as Pixie, Pixie, Piskie, Pisky, and Piggy in Cornwall. Pixie is said to live in ancient underground areas of ancestors such as stone circles, ancient burial mounds, dolmens, firecrackers, circular platform or standing stone, menhir. In traditional local lore, pixies are generally benign, mischievous, short, and attractive to children. They enjoy dancing and gather outdoors in large numbers to dance or sometimes wrestle, all night long, showing similarities with the folk celebrations of Cornish Plen and Gwery and the Breton Fest Noz, Cornish, Troil, originated in the Middle Ages. In modern times, they are often depicted with pointed ears, and often wear green clothes and pointed hats, although traditional stories depict them wearing dirty rags which they happily throw away. Go to give gifts, give new clothes. Sometimes their eyes are described as pointing upward at the temples. However, these were Victorian conventions and were not part of the original mythology. Pixies are depicted differently in folklore and fiction. They are often depicted as being ugly or naked, according to old traditions. Some pixies are said to kidnap children or cause travelers to lose their way. This appears to be a crossover from fairy mythology and was not originally associated with pixies. In 1850, Thomas Cately observed that much of Devon pixie mythology could be traced back to fairy mythology. Pixies were drawn with horses, riding them for pleasure and creating tangled circles in the manes of their horses. The horse they ride. They are and quat. Great explorers familiar with the caves of the ocean, the hidden sources of streams, and the hollows of the land. And quat. Some find pixies to be of human origin or and quat. Join into human nature and quat, to distinguish it from fairies whose myths are traced to immaterial and malignant spiritual forces. In some discussions, pixies are presented as pygmies, wingless, dwarf-like creatures, however this is probably a later addition to the myth. One British scholar claims his belief that, and quat, pixies are clearly a smaller race, and from the greater obscurity of stories about them, I believe that they were once an earlier race. And quat. Pixie Day tradition in Samuel Taylor Coleridge, the home of Ottery St. Mary in East Devon, was the inspiration for his poem, Song of the Pixies. The Victorian writer Mary Elizabeth Whitcomb divided the pixies into tribes based on personality and actions. Novelist Anna Eliza Bray suggested that pixies and fairies are distinct species. The origin of the name pixie is uncertain. Some have speculated that it comes from the Swedish dialect piski, meaning and quat, little fairy and quat. Others have argued for this, as there is no plausible case in the extant evidence of Northern Europe and southwest England, but instead for a view of the Cornish origin of the word pisky, that the term was probably of Celtic origin, although no clear ancestors of the word are known. The term pobl veen, and number 39, little people, and number 39 winking face, is often used to refer to them. The pixie myth is said to predate the presence of Christianity in England. In the Christian era, pixies were sometimes believed to be the souls of dead, unbaptized children. These children will change their appearance to become pixies after their clothes are placed in clay funeral pots that were used as toys when they were alive. In 1869, some people suggested that the name Pixie was a remnant of the Pict race, a tribe of people who used to paint and tattoo their skin blue, an attribute commonly associated with pixies. Indeed, the Picts gave their name to a type of Irish pixie and called it Pecht. This suggestion is still met with in contemporary writing, but no connection has been proven and the etymological connection is doubtful. Some 19th-century researchers made more general claims about pixie origins, or connected them to the puck, Cornish buca, a mythical creature sometimes depicted as a fairy. The earliest published version of the story, The Three Little Pigs, from Dartmoor in 1853, in which three little pixies replace the piglets. Until the advent of more modern fiction, pixie mythology was localized in England. Some have noted similarities with the Quat, fairies of the north, and Quat, the Germanic and Scandinavian elves, or the Tomta, but pixies are distinguished from them by the myths and stories of Devon and Cornwall. Cornwall and Devon, the queen of the Cornish pixies, is said to be Joan the Wad, Torch, and she is considered lucky or bringing good luck. In Devon, pixies were said to be Quat, invisibly small, and harmless or friendly to humans and Quat. By the early 19th century, pixie contact with humans had decreased. In Samuel Drew and No. 39's 1824 book Cornwall, one finds the observation, and Quat, the age of pixies, like the age of chivalry, has disappeared. Perhaps, at present, there is hardly a house in which they are said to be visiting. Even the fields and lanes they once frequented seem to have been abandoned. Their music is rarely heard. And Quat. Pixie Day is an old tradition that takes place every year in the East Devon town of Ottery St Mary in June. The day commemorates a legend about fairies banished from town to local caves known as Quat, Pixie, and No. 39's Parlour and Quat. The Pixie Day legend dates back to the earliest days of Christianity, when a bishop, the local pastor, decided to build a church at Ottery St Mary, and commissioned a set of bells made and shipped from Wales, which was escorted on its journey by monks. Upon hearing about this, the pixies were worried, for they knew that once the bell rang, it would be the death knell for their rule over the land. So they cast a spell on the monks that redirected them from the path the monks were taking to get to Ottery to a path that would lead them to the edge of the cliff at Sidmouth. Just as the monks were about to fall off the cliff, one of the monks tiptoed onto a rock and said in Quat, "God bless my soul and Quat." And then the spell was broken. The bells then taken to Ottery and installed. However, the Pixie and No. 39's spell is not completely broken. Every year one day in June, the Pixies and Quat appear in Quat and capture the town and No. 39's bell ringers and imprison them in the Pixie and No. 39's parlour to be held by the vicar of Ottery St Mary Rescues. This legend is reenacted each year by Otter St Mary and No. 39's Cub and Brownie, with a specially built Pixies and No. 39's parlour in the town square. The original Pixie and No. 39's parlour can be found along the banks of the Otter River. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.